Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of T-Dog RC. And today's video is all about this, which is the Hobby King Avios Grand Tundra. And when I've had this one in the loft as usual for probably about a year and a half, something like that. And when I got this delivered to the office, all the guys in the office have been saying to me pretty much ever since, when are you doing that video of that big one you had delivered to the office? Well, today is the day I'm doing that video. We're finally gonna get this boy out the box. So if you're into all things fixed wing RC, then you want to subscribe to my channel. So if you could help me out by hitting the subscribe button, giving me a thumbs up if you like the video, and of course hitting the bell so you get notified of when videos come out. So without further ado, let's get stuck in. Okay, so this is going to be an unboxing video. I'm going to do this in 3 parts with it being such a big model. So I'm going to do an unboxing today, then I'll do an assembly video, and then of course we'll do the maiden flight as well. So it's actually going to be quite difficult to film the unboxing because it's that big, this box is, and trying to get it on the bench, but we'll see what we can do. So just to give you a few specs, this is 1.7 meter wingspan, 67 inches, 1.26 meters long, 49.6 inches, and it's going to weigh, I think with the battery, 2.4 kilos. It's got a 50/45 500 kV brushless outrunner motor, so it's a nice big chunky motor, and it's got an Aerostar 80 amp ESC with reversing function as well, because you can put floats on this, although this one, unlike the little Tundra, or should I say the normal Tundra, this one doesn't come with the floats. And then there's 2 propellers included in the box because you can fly this on 4S and 6S. I'm going to fly it on 6S because I've got a bunch of 6S batteries that I bought quite some time ago, and I've only really ever used them a few times in a couple of EDF models. So it'd be nice to actually have a plane that can take the 6S batteries and start using those a bit more. And on 6S you really get some pretty serious performance out of this, and it can do all sorts of aerobatics and obviously go quite fast, as well as be super floaty with the massive flaps that the Tundra's famous for. And of course it's a nice big model, so it should have a fair bit of presence in the air. So the 2 props you get 17x8 for 4S and a 16x8 for 6S, because of course the 6S prop is slightly smaller because you put in more voltage through it. So that's the thing with these batteries, you have to work out the right amount of amp draw based on the size of the battery and what size prop and all that sort of stuff. You don't have to worry about that with IC so much, but obviously if you run a 17-inch by 8-inch with 6S, you'll probably end up blowing either the speed controller or the motor, so that's why they include 2 props. And well, in fact I won't tell you what the colour is, but on the box you can see the standard sort of box art is this blue and silver one. So what I'll do is I'll get the lid off, I'll get the camera up on my mount, and we'll take a look, see what's inside the box. Right then guys, I've got the camera as high up as I can get it, and there's no chance of me getting the whole box in the shot unfortunately, but I'll get the things out and you'll be able to see as we go. But very nicely packed, so there's different sections for all the bits, so like the wings they've put in their own little pocket here, so very nicely supported. Everything's wrapped in this thin foam as well, and then there's a box here which we'll take a look at first, presumably a box of goodies in there, and you can maybe see, well in fact let's get one of the wings out and just have a look so you can see the colour that I've gone for. So there we are, I have gone for the green and gold, which I really like. I think it looks a nice sort of classy looking thing. So straight away here you can see we've got these huge barn door flaps, which the Tundra is famous for. You can obviously have them open almost like 90 degrees like that, which is superb. Really slows the plane down. This looks like actually a sticker, so it's not painted, although sorry, this wingtip bit is painted there, but then all the gold and this green section is a sticker, which is slightly odd. I'm not sure why they've painted that. And one of the cool things about this Tundra is it's got lights included as well. So I think this is going to be the first plane I've had with lights on it, so that should be quite good. And I think some of the videos that I've seen, it shows up pretty well because the lights are quite big. That's actually quite a large LED there, so that should be nice. Obviously servo's pre-installed. That's the flap servo is a tiny little servo there. That's probably not even a 9-gram servo, which is unusual. You would think that that would have been just a 9-gram servo. And then these look like they've got some mounting points here for some struts. That's a standard 9-gram servo there. I think all the servos are metal geared servos, and then they've got ball joints on the horns, which is good. And then again on the wingtip, get that into focus, there's a nice wingtip light there as well. So we'll put that back. There's no point in getting the other wing out, but that's the wing anyway. So let's have a look at this box. I'll just get it cut open, see what we've got in here. Knife down before I damage something. Okay, so we've got various bits and bobs in here. We've got looks like the 2 props, and these are big old props. That's the 17x8, so that's the 4S prop, and they've painted the tips on it as well, which is pretty cool. But I won't be using that one, but obviously I'll keep that as a spare. And then the 6S prop is a completely different colour, so that's white with black tips, and they've even painted the leading edge silver there, so all good. A couple of carbon spars, actually there's 3 there, so probably 2 for the wings I guess, and possibly 1 for the tail. And then we've got wing struts. We've got the elevators here. They're inside this box. I won't remove those just yet, but it's going to be interesting to see how they go on actually, because normally with foam models, you know, you don't have to put the hinges on, it's all done for you, but obviously with these ones you do. There is like a slot there, you can't quite see, or a pin should I say. So I'm guessing this sort of almost slides in and that pin sort of locks in, but anyway we'll see when we get to the assembly. And then these are the undercarriage, and these are actually quite substantial. These are pretty thick metal, even brazed together there, or welded together, whatever they've used to do that. So yeah, they're really quite sturdy undercarriage, pretty thick gauge wire there, so that's good. And then of course we've got the usual bag of bits. This is all going to slide off, so I'm going to put it back in here. So what we've got in here, let's have a quick look. Push rods, servo connectors, quick connectors, all that sort of stuff there. Yes, I think these here are some little mini struts for the tailplane. I think it has struts even on the tail as well on this. Yeah, it does. I'm just looking at the picture. So that's what they are. We've got a sprung tail wheel. Springs included in the bag there. Some rubber bands, and pretty sure these are to rig up the undercarriage. So the normal Tundra has a spring on the main gear, but I think This one, you rig up these rubber bands, and that gives you the sort of suspension in the undercarriage. Pretty sure that's the case. Good old Hobby King screwdriver. Don't throw these away because they're actually quite nice screwdrivers. I've said this before on my channel. The size of this, it actually tends to fit a lot of stuff on RC planes, and it's normally pretty good fit into the bolts or screws. You know where often you get a screwdriver and it'll either be too small or too big. These tend to fit in a lot of things, so don't throw those away. Then you've got the vortex generators. In this case, we've got the gold ones to go with the colour scheme. So these glue onto the wings, same as the normal Tundra. And then we've got a couple of other bits here. So we've got some prop adapters and a little spinner. Let's just see if that spinner is metal. I've got a feeling it is. Yeah, it is. That's nice. Nice little gold spinner. And as I say, that's metal, so that's quite cool. And then we've got lots of packs of screws and bolts and things like that, and some of the quick link connectors. So I'm guessing these they're all labelled up. So I imagine in the assembly guide it will maybe show you which bag you need to use. So that's good. So we get all those back. Oh yes, here we go. Look at the state of these. I mean, the thing that the Tundra's famous for is not only its barn door flaps, but the wheels. And geez, they are ridiculous. Let's have a look. Get some out. Look at the size of that. Unbelievable. That is a big wheel. Wow. So yeah, you can take this this thing off pretty much any surface just about. They are some seriously spongy wheels, and they are pretty big as well. Let's see how big they are. Get the old ruler. So they are about 6.5 inches or 16 centimeters, 160 mils. Chunky, very chunky. And what I'm going to do is, actually they might have already done it. I think they have. Maybe, yeah, I think they have. On the other Tundra, the tyres aren't glued onto the hubs, and they tend to come off, particularly if you do sort of a fast takeoff and the wheel spins. Eventually they work their way off. So I put a little bit of CA in the rim round there of the hub, but I don't think I'm going to need to in this case because it looks like they have glued those on. Yeah, cool. Well, that's what it's all about with the Tundra, the big wheels. So then we've got that's the front. That's obviously an optional front canopy, which comes separate, and this is so you can put an FPV camera on if you want to do that. I don't think I'm going to bother, to be honest, but that's there as an option if you want it. And let's have a look. Actually, before we get that out. Okay, interesting. So that is the tailplane with the elevators. So I have no idea what those things were in that box. Possibly something to do with when you put the floats on, maybe? I don't know. But I guess we'll find out when we start assembling it. But no, I was wrong. So the elevators do come pre-installed. Always good, obviously, to give these a bit of a movement to free them up a bit before you connect the servos up. Slightly disappointing to see that these are just foam hinges. I would have thought on a model of this size they would be they'd have some proper hinges in there, so you're gonna have to watch out for that and make sure that they don't split over time. Maybe run some tape down them or something like that. But yeah, there's the tailplane again. Nice green and gold colour scheme on there. I think on the camera, I bet that green almost looks black. It's pretty dark. And they just connect together like that. And then you screw it in there. Some plastic doublers here, where it also screws onto the fuselage. There's the little tubes to put the carbon bar in that you get in the set, in the kit. And then here's the mounting points for the two little struts that you get to support that. And then again, a ball link there for the elevator. So that's good. Of course, one of the problems I'm going to have with this is how on earth, I mean, anyone that's into fixed wing RC will know it's really tricky to try and store the models, because they are obviously quite fragile, but they're also big and bulky. So it is a challenge sometimes where on earth you store these things. That's one of the reasons why it's taken me so long to get around to actually getting this unboxed, because I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with it. I've cleared a bit of space in my workshop, and I put some new mounting points up on the roof, so I'm going to see if I can get it mounted up there. But we'll worry about that later. So let's have a look at the fuselage. Oh, there's a little spider in there. It goes to show how long it's been in my loft. So let's get this out. Again, that is a chunk of foam. It really is. Obviously I can't get all of this in the camera, but there's the vertical stabilizer already pre-molded. Servo in the end there, as you can see, so that's quite good. It's not got big long push rods for the, I guess there's one for the elevator, one for the rudder, each side there, so that's good. Another little light here in the front of the vertical stabilizer. And then there's your mounting point on the back there. Another plastic doubler for the tail wheel. Let's just turn it upside down. Some big cooling vents there to let the air out. Another LED light there on the bottom. And then you've got these plastic mounts for the undercarriage. I think that one is probably going to be for the floats actually. And then you've got the main one here. So that's a nice big strong plastic mounting point. Looks like it's got some lugs for something. We'll find out when we do the assembly. And then if you can see in there, not sure you can really, oh sorry, in the cowl there is the motor. That's got a nice big, that is a big chunky motor in there. I think you just about, ah yes, there we go, you can see that there. So as I said, that is a 50-45 motor, so that's a big motor basically, nice and wide. And then we'll just turn it over. So this is the, I think they call it the Grand Tundra Plus, so it's the Mark II version if you like. And one of the features is it's got the handy wing connector plug, so that's great, so you don't have to mess around with any of the wires. When you get to the field, you literally just plug the wings in, bolt them in, and away you go. So let's have a look at the top. See, I think we've got there's definitely a hatch there, so that's probably where your receiver's going to go in there, I think. Yeah. So the receiver will sit in there. Everything's labelled up, so rudder, that's probably going to be for the lights. That one's for the elevator. That's another light one, I'm guessing. And then obviously speed controller is going to be in the front somewhere. And then the let's have a look in this main hatch. So you just take the front off. It's on pretty solid, that is actually. It's a really good, strong magnet, so that's good. And then in here we've got a whopping great 80 amp ESC. That is an absolute beast. Now one thing to note, and this is often the case, I think it probably happens in transit quite a lot, but you can see the bullet connectors there aren't, if that's going to zoom in, there we go, they're not actually properly connected, so you want to make sure you push all those in properly obviously before you fly. Just see, that doesn't come off there, does it? No. So inside here, well, first of all, there's a whole bunch of wires in here, so we're going to have to get those sort of pushed up to that rear area. You can't quite see in there, but we'll have to get all the wires pushed up to where that receiver bay basically. And then you've got your battery tray in there, so battery trays there, and then this speed controller has got an XT90 connector on it, so that's good because I think most of my 6S batteries have got an XT90, or the ones that have got XT60 I'll just use an adapter on them. And then there's two battery straps in there, pretty close together actually, so it might be worth trying to move the battery straps. And then a whole bunch of wires, like I'm not sure what that is. Oh, that could be the reversing wire maybe. And you've got ailerons, sorry if I've not got that on the camera, ailerons, flaps, that is probably the light controller, so that probably is for the lights maybe, I'm not sure, it could be for the reverse ESC actually. Anyway, we'll see when we check the instructions. But yeah, all those in there, so that's good. Not sure where I'm going to put the ESC, I'll obviously have to see based on the centre of gravity, but they haven't stuck that down or anything, so we'll probably have to stick that down with something. I'm surprised actually with this there being so much space in there that this doesn't come off, and only that bit comes off, because that would be quite handy if this section came off, but not to worry. There's enough room to work in there, it's pretty wide fuselage. So let's get that back on. Let's get it put back in. Right, well I think that pretty much covers it there. That's all the components. There's not a huge amount of components, even though it's a big model. Obviously it's still a foam model, so it's fairly straightforward. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you found it interesting. I'm probably going to crack on with the assembly fairly soon, so there'll be a video coming out after this one fairly soon, hopefully with the assembly on. But in the meantime, if you've got any questions, if you want to know anything about the Grand Tundra, if you're thinking of getting one and you want to ask a question or anything like that, then please give me put a comment in the comments field, and I'll always respond to you. And as I said at the start of the video, if you haven't subscribed to my channel and you're into fixed wing RC, then you're going to want to subscribe. It doesn't cost you a penny. You can click the bell icon to receive notifications when new videos come out. And if you've liked the video, then give me a thumbs up, because that also helps me with YouTube. And as usual, massive thanks to all my existing subscribers. Really appreciate your support. And yeah, I'll see you soon for the next one.